Picture yourself lost in a Japanese snowstorm. The cold cuts through you. Your vision blurs. And then you see her. A woman in white standing perfectly still. She smiles. She offers you shelter. Tonight, we explore one of Japan's most beautiful and most deadly legends. The Yuki-onna, the Snow Woman. A spirit who appears in winter storms. Beautiful beyond description, cold beyond survival. To understand the Yuki-onna, we must journey to the snow-covered mountains of old Japan. In the prefectures of Niigata and Yamagata, where winter is not just a season, it's a force of nature. For centuries, travelers would disappear in these mountains during winter, caught in blizzards, lost in the white. Some would be found days later, frozen solid. But others were never found at all. And the villagers knew why. They had encountered the Yuki-onna. In Japanese folklore, she is a yokai, a supernatural being. But unlike many yokai, she doesn't hide her nature. She appears as she is, beautiful, pale, perfect. Her skin is as white as the snow itself. Her kimono flows in the wind like mist. And her eyes, they say her eyes are the color of winter sky. Cold, empty and infinite. The origins of the Yuki-onna are debated. Some scholars believe she represents the danger of winter itself. The personification of hypothermia, the cold that claims lives. Others say she is a nature spirit, kami of winter and snow. Neither good nor evil, simply elemental. But there's a darker theory, that she was once human. A woman who died in the snow, betrayed, abandoned, left to freeze. And in her final moments, she became something else. A non-myo, a vengeful spirit. The most famous account of Yuki-onna comes from Lafcadio Hearn, an Irish-Greek writer who moved to Japan in 1890. He collected and published Japanese ghost stories in his book Kwaidan. And one story stands above the rest. Two woodcutters, Musashi and his apprentice Minikichi, were caught in a terrible snowstorm. They found shelter in a small hut near the river. But shelter would not save them. In the middle of the night, the door slid open. And she entered. Yuki-onna. Minikichi watched, frozen in terror, as she approached the older woodcutter. She leaned over Musashi and breathed on him. Her breath was not warm. It was ice itself. And in moments, the old man was dead, frozen from the inside out. Then she turned to Minikichi. The young man was certain he would die. But instead, she spoke. She told him he was young and beautiful, that she would spare him. But only if he promised never to speak of what he had seen. Not to anyone. Ever. If he broke this promise, she would return. When Minikichi woke the next morning, the storm had passed. His master lay beside him, dead. But there were no footprints in the snow, no sign anyone had entered. Only the memory of her warning. Years passed. Minikichi never spoke of that night. He married a beautiful woman named Yuki. They had children. They were happy. Until one winter night, many years later. Sitting by the fire, Minakichi looked at his wife. Her pale skin, her dark hair, her timeless beauty. And something stirred in his memory. He told her about that night, about the beautiful woman in white, about how she had looked just like. His wife's face changed. And he knew. He had married the Yuki-onna. She rose, her form becoming less solid, more like mist. She told him she should kill him for breaking his promise. But she had grown to love him, and their children. She would spare him once more. But if he ever frightened the children with this story, if he ever told them what their mother truly was, she would know, and she would return. And then she was gone, vanishing into the winter night, leaving only melting footprints. But Yuki-onna isn't just an old story. Reports continue, even today. In 2006, a man driving through the mountains of Niigata during a storm saw a woman standing by the roadside. She was wearing a white dress, no coat. He stopped, offered her a ride. She got in. She was freezing cold to the touch. He turned up the heat, but she didn't stop shivering. And then he looked at her in the mirror. Her reflection wasn't quite right, too pale, too still. When he looked back at the passenger seat, she was gone. The car was still running. The door was still locked. But the passenger seat was covered in frost. So what does Yuki-onna represent? On the surface, she's a warning. Don't trust beautiful strangers in storms. Don't underestimate winter. But there's something deeper. Yuki-onna is neither purely evil nor purely good. In some stories, she kills without mercy. In others, like Minakichi's tale, she's capable of love, of compassion. She represents nature itself. Beautiful, alluring, dangerous. Winter doesn't hate you, but it can kill you just the same. And perhaps that's the most terrifying thing. She doesn't need a reason. She doesn't need malice. She simply is. Today, Yuki-onna appears in anime, manga, films, and video games. She's become one of Japan's most recognizable supernatural figures. But in the mountains where her legend began, people still tell the old stories. Still warn their children not to wander in winter storms. Because some legends survive for a reason. They remind us that nature demands respect. That beauty can be deadly. And that in the depths of winter, you are never truly alone. If you enjoyed this journey into Japanese folklore, subscribe for more dark legends from around the world. Next week, we explore another spirit from Japan, the Gashoto Cure. Until then, stay curious, stay safe, and if you see a woman in white standing in the snow, keep walking.